want to talk about relationships. Before you get any ideas, no, I am not in a relationship. I'm not thinking that I'm going to get in one soon. I just want to talk about it because my Pinterest is basically relationships, quotes, food, houseplants, and clothes. So things tend to come up pretty often. And I mean, I am 21, so... But no, there is no external motive for wanting to talk about this, other than the fact that I was literally just talking to my brother about this specific concept a couple of days ago. I randomly remembered this quote that I had seen earlier in the week that said, "Don't marry a man unless you'd be proud to have a son just like him." And he was like, whoa. And in the same vein, there was another quote that I saw a couple years ago, and I've seen it a couple times since, that basically says something to the effect of, before you marry a man, ask yourself if you really want him to be the father of your children. Because I know, at least for me, in some of the people that I've considered, I've been like, oh, well, I can deal with that. Like, that's not too big of a deal. But then when I saw that quote and thought about those negative aspects of the guy around my kids, I was like, no, not happening. I think as women, we often can kind of just get this mindset of, oh, well, I don't mind like dealing with the bad. I mean, obviously everyone has little quirks and flaws that are totally manageable. I'm talking about like major things that you would not be comfortable your kids being around. That kind of just changed my perspective. I am a self-proclaimed hopeless romantic. And I don't know what your definition of hopeless romantic is, but my personal definition of hopeless romantic for myself is that I look for love everywhere, and I can tend to fabricate it where it isn't actually existent. Which doesn't always end well for me. Pretty much never ends well for me. So suffice it to say, I have liked a lot of guys in my lifetime, and considered a lot of guys in my lifetime. And when I go back and think through like all the different guys and their characters and their personalities and different things, I'm like, whoa, a lot of them I would not want to be the father of my kids. And that makes me wonder what is wrong with my taste in men, but anyways. But it was just really eye-opening for me to think back and then be like, wait, there were so many things and so many of these guys that I just like kind of glossed over because I was like, oh, I can deal with that. That's not too bad. But then I'm like, really? Why would I settle? Why would I purposely enter into a relationship with someone knowing that there's something that I don't appreciate about their less changeable parts of them, like their character? Because obviously everyone changes throughout their life, and you can't guarantee that the person you marry is the same person they're going to be 20 years from now. And on the same token, people don't often change those more solidified parts of them, like their character. There's kind of this balancing act that kind of has to be taken into consideration of like the changeable parts of them and the not changeable parts of them, and like marrying them for who they are, but also who they could become. Not that like you're waiting for them to become that person, but like, what are their tendencies? What do you think they may become later? Have they not gone through a rebellious phase yet? Is that something that might come in later down the road? And like, what if they completely abandon everything that they've ever stood for? Like, you can never know for sure who someone is going to be, but you can get a lot of context clues. So I guess my point in bringing this up is, if you're currently in a relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, if you're just keeping your eye out, whatever your situation is right now, kind of just take an inventory of yourself too, but also the guys that you're interested in or the girls that you're interested in, and think about them in that context of like, would I want them to be the parent of my child? Like, would I want a child to grow up with their tendencies and their personality and their character and whatever else? Like, would you be proud to have a mini version of them? Personally, that really changed the game, because it's no longer like surface of, oh, am I attracted to them, or like, do I like their personality? It gets really deep with like, is their character something that I want passed on to my child? And like, that might sound weird to some people, but honestly, it's really helpful to think about that. Anyways, I just wanted to share those thoughts. If that was a brand new concept to you and you're gonna start implementing that going forward, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if you guys have heard that before or what you thought of the concept. So let's start a conversation, because I know the topic of relationships can be kind of different depending on like your religious background or your cultural background. But I think this concept is something that we can all benefit from. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you right back here next week.